Our next contestant is John Lowe. Speech title, Psychosis. Psychosis. John Lowe.
Psychosis is a terrible disease that is splitting families and dividing communities. Many people in this room will have psychosis, yet they won't even be aware of it. I'm here to raise that awareness, to tell you there is hope. There is help. And when it comes to your recovery, you do not have to do it yourself. Contest chair, ladies and gentlemen, my name's John Lowe, and I have psychosis. And this is my story. 9 years ago, my life was perfect. I'd recently gotten married, so I was still in love. We'd just bought our first house, and my career in aviation was starting to take off. And then one day it all came crashing down. And it's the usual scenario. The guy selling me the stuff said that I'll be okay. Once won't hurt you, he told me. He even looked me in the eye when he assured me that I'd be fine. But if I did need any more, I'd know where to find him. If I could go back in time to any point, it would be to then. And I would grab myself by the shoulders and I would shake some sense into myself and I'd say, John, don't be so stupid. Stop it. You know nothing about plumbing. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was in the middle of a psychosis crisis. Or to give it its full name, a DIY psychosis. The complete detachment from reality when it comes to all things DIY. It gives the sufferer an overinflated sense of handyman ability, but absolutely zero insight into just how unskilled they really are. I was a textbook case. The disease itself often starts with small jobs around the house, hanging a picture frame or tightening the screw on a loose door handle. And because you've successfully completed those small odd jobs, all of a sudden you think you're qualified to re-plumb the bathroom. And this is exactly where I was on that fateful day. My new tools under one arm, my new shower unit under the other. I left my dealer. Some of you may know him as Mitre 10 Mega. And I went home to fix my shower. Now when I say fix, that tends to imply the existing shower unit was broken. It wasn't. And this is really classic signs of DIY psychosis. The overwhelming desire to fix things that just don't need to be fixed. In fact, clinicians use this particular disease trait as a diagnostic tool. They will put the patient in a room with a home appliance, a vacuum cleaner or a toaster. It works just fine, it's not broken. And then the clinician simply introduces the manufacturer's troubleshooting guide. If within half an hour the patient has dismantled the home appliance in a bid to fix it, then the diagnosis is made and an intervention is set up. Sadly for me, my intervention did not come in time. My wife didn't know about the disease and she naively assumed my confidence level was proportionate to my skill level. And I was allowed to indulge in my grandiose fantasy world. But I'm not a complete numpty, I'm not devoid of common sense. I knew to turn the mains water supply off before dismantling the existing shower unit along with half of the bathroom wall. And I had everything set up to install the new shower. And at this point, I'm not going to get too technical with you as to exactly what plumbing was required, simply because I don't know any of the technical words. But essentially, the bit that I wanted to fit into the other bit didn't fit. I tried all the tricks in the book. I jiggled it about a bit. I stared at it quite a lot. And yes, I even turned it round the other way. But nothing seemed to work. So I thought, well, it's getting late. I'll put the old unit back in and sort it out in the morning. The problem I was now faced with was the existing shower unit was in about 20 pieces at the bottom of the bath, and I'm pretty sure some of the smaller pieces had fallen down the plug hole. I mean, who puts a plug hole at the bottom of a bath? What a ridiculous thing to do. I am, of course, here displaying further classic signs of DIY psychosis. That ability to blame everything and anything else other than yourself for your poor workmanship. I was blaming a very poorly positioned plug hole. I think at one point I even managed to blame my wife for the whole situation simply because she asked if I'd like a cup of tea. But it's my wife I have to thank for saving me. By 3 o'clock in the morning, with no running water in the house, she'd had enough. And she called an intervention. She called the emergency plumber. Now, my intervention came in 2 parts. The first part was a wave of humiliation, that sort of humiliation that can only come with having to ask another man to correct the results of my own incompetence. The second part of my intervention is a second wave of humiliation, with then having to pay that man $500. Showered in shame and stripped of my manhood and its associated delusions, I was essentially cured. The beast still lives within me, it's still there. My wife helps keep it at bay. She lets me do small projects in the garden, compost bins, plant box containers. She did say no to the flying fox I wanted to build the children off the balcony. And that's probably a fair call. But it's the children that I want to raise awareness for. I don't know whether there is a genetic element to this disease. But I've already started to notice my 3-year-old son is doing small odd jobs around the house. Just the other day I caught him doing a number 1 in the living room. So ladies and gentlemen, if you think you're good at DIY and you're not a qualified tradesperson, you may well have this disease. Remember, there is hope. There is help. When it comes to your recovery, you do not have to do it yourself.